Tuesday morning here on Off the Bench, you know what that means. Best coach in college football stopping by to update us here on the offseason and the LSU football team. We will talk to five-star offensive tackle Tristan Lee coming up here at 8 o'clock. The Tigers have been scorching hot on the recruiting trail. A couple of pass rushers last week with a game-breaking wide receiver. Tigers now sit at 15 commits as LSU, one of the hottest brands in the country right now. As far as recruiting goes, we talked to Coach Ed Orgeron as he stops by every Tuesday with us here on OTB. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Great to be on the show this morning.
Lots of success on the recruiting trail here of late, Coach. What do you account that to?
We fired up, man. Obviously, our national brand, guys have worked very hard. I'm telling you, man, Christian Malcouture has done a tremendous job. He's a young coach, graduate assistant. Our recruits love him. He's done a phenomenal job in helping us recruit the defensive line. Mickey Jones, those guys are doing a great job. Corey Raymond, who's now a new recruiting coordinator, has these guys heading in the right direction. So there's a lot of good things happening right now. It
was a holiday weekend, Coach, and there was a lot of news that was coming out of the program, especially around recruiting. How'd you spend the days down as your guys were out of the office?
Prepared. We got a lot of stuff to do. We got football schools coming up. We got camp coming up. So I kind of just stayed in town. Got to work out a lot, and obviously was prepared when our coaches came by, and I got to take care of the dog. Parker and Cody went to Destin. I got to take care of the dog, Benny.
So with football camp now, just it's July 7th, right? So we're talking about 17 days away before that start date. What is on the docket for the coaching staff then this week? Like, what are the goals that y'all are trying to get done this week?
T-Bob, we got to get everything ready for football school, all the scripts, all cards, all our individuals got to be ready, installations, which takes a lot of work. And then we're going to have an extra, maybe an extra 12 or so practices with this new time they allowed us starting on the 24th. So July is different for us right now, so we got a lot of work to do. And then we got to do all of camp ahead of time, so when we get into camp, everything's done.
So, Coach, when you start to break down this practice film, what are some of the things that you're looking for? Like, I know a lot of coaches look for things like loafs, and like what does it look like when you as a coaching staff break down the previous day's practice?
Yeah, first of all, we look for ball opportunities, turnovers. And we want great ball security and great turnovers. The team that wins the turnover ratio is going to win the game. And the next one is effort. And we identify what is the loaf. And then the next one is ongoing skill development. And we talk about fundamentals, stance, alignment, assignment every day.
Coach Ed Orgeron joining us here off the bench, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. We talked to one of the guys behind the scenes that is instrumental in all the success that you guys are experiencing right now. Colin D'Angelo, who's a young guy in your recruiting department, was very impressive talking about the processes that you go through in that stance. There's another young coach on staff, Coach, that's getting some attention in Russ Callaway. Can you talk about the responsibilities that Callaway has now since bringing him over from Sanford, where he was calling the plays the last couple of seasons?
A tremendous – I think Russ is going to be a great coach in college football. He's already proved himself at Sanford. He had one of the best offenses in the country. He's Coach Hensminger's right-hand man, prepares a lot of tape for him and does a lot of work for us, has a lot of energy. I think he is a great young coach.
Can you talk about how you spread the workload to these analysts? Because it seems like all of them have different responsibilities.
Yeah, he works strictly with Coach Hensminger, and obviously Coach Hensminger is the offensive coordinator. So he's making cut-ups. He's breaking down film. He's making tips and reminders. He knows all the offense. He's doing the install, making all the great adjustments that Coach Hensminger has to make on putting them on paper, and just sits by Coach Hensminger's side all day. Those two work together great.
We're talking to Coach Ed Orgeron here on Off the Bench, one of our 500 with 94.7 ESPN. Coach, graduate transfers, we asked you about them a few weeks ago. You seemed excited about Liam Shanahan. The early returns were looking good. Can you update us, given that center seems to be one of the positions of concern?
We're thinking that Liam may be a center. What we hear, and obviously we can't watch him, but he's snapping well. Is what the quarterbacks are telling. The other offensive linemen like him. They're working together. He's very smart. We feel that he for sure can make the calls and be a leader for us. He's a big young man. He's 6'5", 310. He's a tough young man. He is really, really impressive. I met his family. His daddy is a big Irishman. He's put, I think, four students through Ivy League schools, and what a great family, and very impressed with the young man so far, but he's got to go through camp and get it done.
Coach, I know a lot of people who pay a lot of money to watch a Cajun man and an old Irishman chop it up. That's a manly conversation right there.
It was fun. We were out on my patio out there, and we stayed out there about a half hour, and I told his mom, I said, Liam does the things that we think he ought to do. He has a chance to play in the NFL. The old man said, whoa, wait a minute. One step at a time, Coach. We got to make the team.
Coach Orgeron joining us. Another one for James Craig, right? I mean, another one that he found, showed you, and here he has a chance to play.
Yeah, here it is. I'm walking down the hall. I'm going to work out early in the morning. Coach Craig gets here at 3 o'clock in the morning. This is 6 o'clock. He's been here for 3 hours. Hey, Coach, I got a little film to show you. I showed him. I said, what do you think, James? I said, what do you think, Coach? I said, I like his athleticism. James, he played at Harvard. Do you think he can handle the SEC? He says, Coach, I know he can. So another great find by James Craig, who's a tremendous, I think, is one of the best offensive line coaches in college football, and he's also an outstanding recruiter.
Coach, you're here every week with us, and throughout the weeks that you're here consistently, we bring some of your staffers on, and everybody has the same sentiment about the environment that you have created. Everybody wants to be there, and there's a fan question that comes in, Ask Coach O, hashtag Ask Coach O. Other than winning, Coach, what's the secret to creating a work environment that everybody wants to be in?
First of all, it's LSU. I mean, who doesn't want to be at LSU, right? I mean, this is the goal for everybody, to come here at LSU and compete in the SEC. I do believe that everybody comes to work and enjoys coming to work. We talk about the LSU standard of performance is very high. Everybody's held a high esteem, a high accountability. But I think everybody can come to work and have fun and be themselves and do their job.
Coach, so we open it up to listeners if they had any questions to ask you. And Chad Nelson in the YouTube chat says, ask Coach O, without on-field work, how do you predict breakout players for this season?
Obviously I listen to Tommy Moffitt, and he tells me about how the workouts are going. And, you got to think about Racey McMahon. Think about the year that he had as last year as a special teams player, and now it's his time. Think about Eric Gilbert. He was hurt in the spring. All indications is he's the type of football player we think he is. Jabril Cox, those guys. Josh White has been performing well. Freshman linebacker we think is going to be an outstanding football player. Jacqueline Roy, Jacoby Gilliard. I talked about him last week, how big he looks. Philip Webb, I hear runs very well. So all those guys are making a name for themselves. And a guy that I'm really impressed with is Cole Taylor, tight end out of Colorado, our first player from Colorado here. He's 6'6.5", 230. He's growing into his body. I think he's an excellent player. And Devontae Bradford, our young running back. Tommy told me he runs very well. Very impressed with him. And again, Max Johnson. Now, Max Johnson continues to improve, continues to do the thing we want him to do. He and T.J. Finley, we got two great young quarterbacks.
It seems like everybody that has their eyeballs on this freshman class is talking about the athleticism of this group. Are you getting that feedback?
Yeah, Tommy thinks it's the best, one of the best freshman classes he's seen at LSU. And as far as athletic-wise, as far as character-wise, as far as ability to work, these guys are cohesive already. They're competing. A lot of them will come and compete for starting positions.
Wow. Talking to Coach Ed Orgeron here on Off the Bench, 104.5, 100-worthy, 94.7 ESPN. Rich Harrow asks, with us having good depth across the board, what position is the focus for the upcoming and next recruiting cycles?
Well, we're doing very good on the defensive line right now, but it's always going to be about the line. We got to get great linemen. I feel like we're very good on the defensive line. We got some more to come. And offensive line, we're on some of the top players in the country. Offensive line, cornerbacks. This is a great year in cornerback. Inside linebackers, a place that we need. We want to get bigger safeties and running back. So we still got a ways to go.
Another one coming in from a fan, Coach. Ask Coach O. Ask him about Cardell Thomas's health, and do we expect to see him on the offensive line this year?
Cardell lost a lot of weight, and he looks very good. He's worked very hard, and he's going to compete for that right guard spot. That right guard spot right now is wide open.
Yeah.
And let's see what he can do.
Biggest concern on defense right now, Coach?
Just moving from the it's not a concern, but just moving from the 3-4 to the 4-3. I think that we're going to be very good up front. We got to replace some linebackers, all new linebackers, but I think that we have some very good talent there. I feel good about our defense.
Devin White told us a couple of months ago that we asked for a breakout guy, and he named Damone Clark, and he gave stories about Clark when White was on his way out, that he was in his back pocket. Everything that White was doing, he'd look over his shoulder, and Damone Clark was just soaking up like a sponge. It feels like his time as his head coach. What do you expect from Clark this season?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's been a great leader in our leadership council meetings. He's been a vocal leader. He's stepped up. He's always there early in the morning to work out. He's 6'2.5", 237.
Wow.
All muscle. A great young man right here from Baton Rouge. Great family, a very intelligent young man. Sky's the limit for him.
6'2", 237.
Yeah, and not an ounce of fat on him. I mean, even last year, that dude looked jacked. Coach, I'm going to ask you to go back in your brain here and think back to sleeping on the cot at Northwestern or maybe working in the weight room in Arkansas. Sean Trent in the huddle says, I'm starting my first year of football coaching. How do you create culture?
How to create culture. First of all, your first year of football coaching, you're not worried about creating culture. Hey, go to work early, make the coffee, stay there, keep your mouth shut, shake your head, say yes, sir, and go to bed late.
You ever look down at that key? You ever look down at that key to Tiger Stadium and see that you have that on your key ring now and think back to those days of sleeping on the cot?
Man, I got to tell you all a quick story. So it's you go to high school on Monday, and all the students talk about what they did on the weekend. All right, so I go to Salafushin. All the students were talking about going to LSU games, and I'd never been to LSU games. So I went home and talked to my daddy. Every time I had to talk to my daddy, I had to go talk to him on the swing. So I went and talked to him. I said, "Hey, Dad, everybody goes. Not everybody. A lot of people are going to the LSU games on the weekend. Why we don't go?" He said, "Boy, we can't afford that." I said, "Okay." He said, "Well, let me tell you something. You keep on working, you won't need a ticket to the Tiger Stadium."
Wow.
Think about when the day that they gave me that key to Tiger Stadium. So I think about him all the time and his motivation and his foresight to push me to work hard and achieve great things.
Oh, yeah, man. I
get goosebumps 40 years later.
Me too. I still see you running out of that tunnel for the Missouri game with those tears coming down your face. Last one, Coach. We'll get you out of here. A special night tonight again for this 2019 team as you guys will hand out the rings for your championship season. What about tonight?
Well, it's a special night. A lot of the players are going to come back. Derek Bonansky and Greg Stringfellow, those guys have done a great job. I've seen the rings. We get 3 of them. They're wonderful. What a great night for our football team. And I'm happy for our players and our coaches to be able to get this. But obviously we're going to celebrate it, and then we'll put it to bed. It's on to next season.
Absolutely, Coach. We always appreciate your time. Stay out of the rain today. A lot of images of you jogging yesterday in the rain, man.
All right, man. Go Tigers.
We'll see you.
Yes,
there
sir.
he is, Coach O checking in. We'll close out hour 1 next.